action, and welcome everybody. This is PnP Weekly episode 210. It is 15th of May. Summer is here. Yay! In the Northern Hemisphere. Okay, fine. At least in Finland.
It went away really from here to you because last weekend we had like 21 degrees plus. I don't know what is that in Fahrenheit, but it was warm and sunny.
Yep.
And now it's down to 12.
I think we hit 25 yesterday. So.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. So sorry.
Give it back.
Sorry, my bad.
Give it back. Sorry, not sorry.
In the PnP Weekly, I always talk about the latest on the weather and around Microsoft 365 and community and articles, and we have a visitors in place as well. My name is Vesa Juvonen. I'm a principal product manager in Microsoft 365 platform. With me as a co-host is
Hey everybody, my name is Waldek Mastykarz and I'm cloud developer advocate for Microsoft 365 at Microsoft.
Excellent. And today we can actually talk about a bit about the cloud advocates, actually quite a lot about cloud advocates and what they are and what they actually do. Garry Trinder is joining us for a discussion about the cloud advocate hackathon, which is really, really cool setup where Waldek, you're closely involved as well.
Correct. So without further ado, how about we jump into the interview?
Sounds good.
Rhymes.
Excellent. Thank you, Garry, joining us once again on the PnP Weekly. You've been here a few times, but it's good to have you on the show again. And let's talk about what's happening next month and next weeks, which is a cool thing. Before we go there, can you do a recap who you are and what do you do for a living?
Sure, yeah, I've been on here a few times. The first time I actually froze midway, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. But
was it you or was it Teams?
Who knows? Who knows? Could have been. I could just, do my mime kind of impression.
Yes.
But hello everyone. My name is Garry Trinder. I am a cloud developer advocate at Microsoft. I'm based in the UK.
There we go.
There we go. Quick and easy.
Excellent. Can you also recap on what exactly is Cloud Advocate and how do you get to be a Cloud Advocate? Because I think every now and then we get a lot of questions related on that, and people are so confused because I'm a PM, and then we have engineers, and then we have Cloud Advocates, and who are they? What do they do?
Well, we've got many other roles too. We've got PMMs, we've got end-to-end PMs, we've got many different roles. So it's like.
But how do you get to be a cloud advocate? What does it actually mean?
You apply for a job, you get interviewed, and then you are approved.
And then you figure it out as you're going along, right? That's kind of the way.
That's true. That is true.
So developer advocate. So I guess the role that I have is working with the community, working external to Microsoft, working internal within Microsoft, and kind of advocating on both sides. So working with product groups, engineering teams, with dev tooling. So obviously my focus is Microsoft 365 and Microsoft 365 development, and kind of, advocating on behalf of Microsoft of, tooling that we might be creating to make developers' lives much easier than it currently is. But also on the flip side is listening to the community, listening to the feedback, and then advocating on behalf of the community inside Microsoft as well. Yeah. So we have this kind of cycle, if you like, that we go through. So we might go out into the community and talk about new things, and your reaction of, actually this is really, really cool, and can it do X and can it do Y? Or, well, actually I don't quite get it, or are we missing the mark? And both positive and negative feedback are things that we're actively going out to seek, so that we can then have those discussions internally with the product groups and the engineering teams that actually build these tools as well. So if you're speaking to an advocate and you're kind of giving feedback, know that that's coming back directly to the teams who are working on these products. And we spend a lot of our time, daily time, working with these teams as well, and understanding their thought processes, and then including, community is maybe struggling with this, maybe can we make this easier for them? What plans have you got on that side, as well as making people aware that these tools actually exist as well, right? There's lots of tools that you can use. There's tools from Microsoft, the tools from community as well. And we do our best to obviously share that message and help everyone. And with first and foremost, we're developers anyway, right? So we're still building on the platform and coming across the same potential issues that you're coming across in your day job as well. So we wanted to make things much smoother experience and better all around, and to do that we have to have this feedback loop, which is where developer advocacy really sits.
Yeah, and it's a super valuable role, because again, it's not like many of the PMs and engineers, especially those who are located. Well, that's wrong. Location doesn't actually mean a thing, but they don't actually have a time necessarily to collect this feedback. So therefore, we need to have different people collecting the feedback and advocating the work what the engineers and PMs are doing, because they need to also focus on delivering. So, and of course, it depends on the organization how things are working, but but there's a clear a need for cloud advocates for sure. So.
Yeah, when you think about the opportunities that you get to speak to, kind of like people in the product groups and engineering, you might have a few opportunities throughout the year. If you're an MVP, we've got the MVP summit. Obviously, you've got the conferences, so we've got Build coming up as well, where you can have where kind of the new announcements are coming out and these new features are being announced. You have those points, but like you say, during the months in between, it's focusing on delivering, right? And you can't. You can try and spread yourself across all of these things, but end of the day, delivering a good product is key, right? Sure. And yeah, we obviously can help teams kind of with the edges. We can help technically, but we could also help on things like documentation. Okay, you've built something, but how do people use it? And is it easy to use, or do you have 25 steps that you've got to go through before you get there, and then how can we work together to identify those kind of pain points and go, actually, can we make this easier? And then we start those discussions on the back of that. So yeah, it's very interesting.
For sure.
Maybe also to add to that, another aspect of our work is to look beyond a product, right? Because devs don't work with our tools they don't only use that one thing. They build a project, right? And one product from us is just one of the many things that they use in chain. Sure. And especially realizing that bigger scope and this end-to-end flow, that is really where we fall into the gray areas when one product meets the other, because maybe they aren't designed to work together, maybe they haven't been tested, maybe the experience isn't really optimal. So that is also a big focus for us, because we are exposing our work to this end-to-end flow. Hey, I have an idea and I want to go all the way down to having a working app with all the different steps, going through different samples, repos, discovering, ideating how I can put my idea into a reality, right? How I can translate an idea into code. Which tools do I need? Which SDKs? Which versions? How do I set things up? So all of that is also a part of our work to ensure that that is really an optimal experience, and then communicate that back to product groups. Hey, your thing might work perfectly on its own, but in combination with these three things, it's not optimal. So kind of bringing that end-to-end awareness to product group too.
Yeah, a perfect example is kind of you come across, I'm building an app, so I need auth, and you're automatically exposed to Azure AD and the auth flows there. Then you've got Graph, and you're looking they're separate things, but you have to use them together as well. So it's you straight away you're almost okay, the complexity has just got a little bit higher, and you're dealing with different concepts as well, rather than just I'm writing a bit of code. And it's how is that experience seen? Are you okay? I need to do auth, therefore are you just in AD docs with nothing related to what you're actually trying to achieve? So yeah, those kind of end-to-end samples or tutorials as well, which we would get in and potentially create either through formalized learning paths as well, or it might be a blog post. So I think the other side of it is most advocates they're very different. We're doing similar roles, but we approach things in different ways. So you might see advocates that are comfortable doing video, might see advocates that are comfortable doing blog posts. Others, I'm going to go write a book. There's no kind of like playbook here of if you do X and Y and Z, and you've done and you've finished. It's all different for different audiences as well. There's the whole TikTok side of things as well, right? that people can explore as well. So it is a really interesting role of, okay, what mediums can we use as well to get the message out? It's so varied. It's kind of mind-boggling.
How far away are we from seeing Garry Trinder doing a dance on TikTok?
You'd have to get me doing a dance on Teams first.
We can do this. So if you stand now and do,
Cha-cha-cha?
Oh, some say there are blooper reels on some of the videos that we do. That may get out there one day.
But yeah, it's coming back on the versatility of the role is actually interesting, and especially in Microsoft, that actually applies also for engineering roles and PM roles, which is it's not like there's an explicit book of this is what you're expected to do. It's more on adjusting on the need of the organization and the product and services and all of that. So I'm a good example of a PM who looks more like a cloud advocate rather than a PM. So because of the work what I do. But again, then it's an interesting that there is no, let's say, a explicit list of things. This is what you should be doing. No. In many roles, you define the role and you define the success points and you define the ways of implementing that, which is actually kind of nice as well. Gives some flexibility.
To clarify that for external folks, like, yes, we have, a role book where that describes kind of the areas of work and what is expected of you.
True.
But there is like beyond that, like that is more like a guideline, a direction. And basically that gives you a range of areas of work. And basically within that, you're responsible for filling it in the way that is authentic to you, that makes sense for your team, your org, and so forth and so on. So it's like you will get a direction, but within that, it's basically up to you to translate that into the actual activities that are a part of your work.
True. Now, Garry, how do you get to be a cloud advocate? What does it mean? What are the prerequisites to get to be a cloud advocate?
When I was 6, I got a set of crayons.
I want to be a cloud advocate in Microsoft, and then how do you get back?
Way back.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because I guess, certainly from my point of view, advocacy with Microsoft 365, it feels very new. Obviously, there's been advocacy kind of all up in lots of different areas, but M365 was kind of pretty new to me, and I think the closest that I could kind of relate to that role would have been being out in the community, being a speaker, being an MVP, doing it even open source, right? It's still part of that advocacy side where you're working with people who are using a tool, getting feedback, okay, what are we going to focus on next? And those are things which, I'm really thankful that I've been part of the community for so long, back in kind of when I started with SharePoint, going to, the old SharePoint Saturdays events, kind of getting, an understanding of the SharePoint community, the developer community, they're sharing things in user groups. Then obviously as time went on, we started to scale up, and now we've got community calls where anyone in the world can join and request to speak and share. So over time, I've been doing that anyway and kind of building up, I guess, these skills that also help me in my old role as a consultant. Like, I'm going out to customers and I'm talking to people and I'm trying to explain things to them in a way that they can understand as well. So that would be technical and non-technical. So after years of being in consultancy and doing these things, you kind of start to look and go, okay, is the life outside? And one of the things was advocacy. And it kind of, I looked at it and went, well, this kind of ticks a lot of the boxes of a lot of things that I've been doing in my job, but a lot of things I've been doing outside of my job as well, as kind of like the fun things of, going to conferences and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, well, I'll go for it. Why not? And thankfully enough, it was all successful, and I landed the role. But I think those kind of skills, if you're looking to be an advocate, is learning those skills, understanding the community as well, what the pain points are, and where people actually hang out as well in your community, and having, I think, a really flexible approach to your work. Every week is different. Every month is different, which if you like that, and you like that kind of, there's always something new to get into, then it's a great role. If you just want to do the same thing all the time, it'd be just chaos. Certainly, because we're always experimenting. We're always going, okay, we'll do this, and did it work, and what can we measure, and okay, we've done something and some good things, but how can we make it even bigger as well? Those kind of, I guess, thought processes as well really kind of help you in the role where you're just, we're constantly experimenting, trying new things. And not being afraid to do it as well. People kind of like, I'm scared of going and speaking and things. It's like, you've just kind of got to do it.
True, but I think
just try.
I guess that's part of the let's say, growing up to the role and having that experience of being a consultant as well. Because as one of the key experiences being a consultant is that, well, you just need to deal with the situation. So, and that's something what you have that experience after doing a few years of consulting, and you learned with, well, especially in my background, at least, it was always like, well, there's nobody else to blame. There's nobody else to actually take the role. You just needed to deal with the situation up to the level have a discussion with the developer or CXO level in the leadership in the large customer. Just go with it, adapt, and do the thing, and that helps on the community engagement as well, and your role right now, because you also have that background. So, like Waldek has as well.
I do.
Yeah.
And also having that real world experience of building things, and like you, Garry, said already, having that experience of those pain points as well, understanding that, well, okay, so these are the areas which we can improve. So it's not a theoretical thing based on reading or whatever. It's a hands-on, oh my God, this is too hard feeling, and then starting fixing that.
Yeah, and I think one side as well is being able to build relationships with people as well, and that's a I guess being a consultant, you do that with customers anyway. You want to build a trusting relationship with them so that they trust you for the work that you're going to do. And then when coming into advocacy, it's working with all these different groups that we work with. We rarely just work with one group. It's like to do things as well. You don't just do things on your own or with one group. It's bringing everyone along with you as well, and learning that skill. Certainly at the scale of Microsoft is very interesting. I think me and Waldek joked the other day about kind of the backgrounds of where we've come from, and it's kind of like smaller companies and then kind of scaling up, and then bam, Microsoft, and you realize how big the company is and how many different people are in there that can help you achieve what you want to achieve. I find that's quite an incredible part of the job. Certainly unique that we're in a position that we can bring others along of different groups together to either create content or run events as well, and everyone has their role in that, but you kind of have to take your hat off of, okay, I need to do this and I need to produce this XP of content. It's like, whoa, how can we go bigger than that?
You mentioned experiments and events, two things. What's cooking now? What's on your mind?
The interesting? Yes.
So what is cooking? Well, as of last week, so we announced that on June the 1st, there is going to be a global hackathon taking place. So this is the HackTogether, the Microsoft Teams Global Hack. It's a long name, but HackTogether Teams, that'll do. So we're inviting everyone really, whether you're kind of just starting out doing development, maybe you're thinking of switching careers, or you're actually an experienced developer and you just want to play around with things, right, and just try something new that maybe you've not been exposed to. I know lots of developers who are building on SharePoint, but maybe not building on Teams, maybe not have that opportunity. But here is an opportunity to come build an app for Teams, submit your project. So it's a 2-week hackathon, finishes June the 15th. Submit your project. You might win a prize, but you'll learn something as well as you go along. Stickers, yeah, everyone loves stickers. Everyone loves a badge. And there's badges. Whoa. So so this is happening. Myself, Waldek, and the rest of the team, we are banging the drum to let everyone know about this as well. So we've got a few weeks, and there's a little event that's happening midway before this actually starts. But with Build happening, there's a fantastic opportunity as well for you to take those announcements that will be coming at Build and go, perfect, there's a hackathon here where I can start learning these new things straight away and start trying them out as well. So if you are interested, then definitely go along and register. So we've got a short link. So it's aka.ms/hack-together-teams. So go along to that, register your participation, and then just get ready for the event to start. So we've also got some live events that are happening as well throughout the 2 weeks. So we've on June the 1st, when I guess everything starts, we've got a keynote taking place as well, and then we've got several events running up to the 15th when we close as well. So take a look. Add the events to your calendar as well. Make sure you don't miss them. And as well as the live events where you'll be learning about how to build on Teams, get inspiring ideas from people within Microsoft, as well as the community as well. So we've got MVPs who are going to be presenting. There's an opportunity to connect with the experts as well. So we've got the GitHub discussions that if you want to get involved, introduce yourself, try and generate some ideas for your project, or I've just got stuck and I don't know what to do. That's the place to ask your questions, and either ourselves in advocacy that are always looking there, or the community, I'm sure will be able to help you out so that you're not stuck, and you can get all the way to the end and submit your project and, like I say, hopefully win a prize.
And what are the prizes? So what are we looking into? I'm watching the site right now, so I can actually read the prizes from here as well. But what's the kind of the objective for attendees? Why would it's testing out things and getting support, of course.
You're asking like 5 quick questions.
Yeah, of course. Yes. So, in terms of so obviously what we're asking you to do when you sign up, the ultimate thing is build something in Teams, build an app.
Yep.
And in terms of the prizes, we've got different categories of apps that you can build. So in terms of the prizes, we've kind of got like, grand winner, if you like, that is just the best the project that has been submitted. So if you win that, then you can win an Xbox and a $300 digital gift card.
Yep.
As well. But then we have 2, I guess, more specific categories where we've got the best AI-powered solutions and also the best productivity-based solutions as well. And, both of those categories have a $300 digital gift card prize attached to them. And we also have a community hack winner as well. So we're really excited that we've partnered with the European Collaboration Summit, which is coming up in a few weeks. I'm excited to go to that as well. Next week.
Garry, it's next week already. You're speaking there.
I know. Right?
T-minus 7 days.
No.
Yeah, like sit there and suddenly thinking, I'm sure I was supposed to do something today. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be
you've
getting
got
on a boat.
a couple things to do there. Last time I checked.
I do, yeah. So yeah, we have our partnership with the European Collaboration Summit, and they have kindly donated a prize. So it's a Commodore 64 retro computer as well. Oh, might just want to add as well that if you're looking to register, you don't just have to do this alone as well. You can register as part of a team. So if you have friends, colleagues, just want to get involved, you just don't want to do it alone, then definitely all sign up together. I definitely encourage that as well. Having done hackathons in the past, when you're doing things with other people, when things maybe go, it's getting a bit tough, or you're out of ideas, having your network there of colleagues that are working with you help you drive towards the end as well. So yeah, you don't have to do it alone.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, and also maybe another thing to add, you're like, a hack doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be the next big startup unicorn idea. It can be a small thing, like maybe you completed a learning path or a module and you just went through a tutorial. That's enough already. It only shows, like you've learned a thing and you have a working piece of code. That is, even if it doesn't work, maybe you got to a point and you had this idea, I want to do 3 things, and you're stuck at one. Still, sharing your code is already showing something. So even if you build a hack that doesn't quite work, so what? You wrote a piece of code you wanted to learn. You learned a thing.
True.
Perfect. True. Share with others. Show your skills, because maybe somebody else will be able to, build on it. Maybe somebody else will have a tip for you that will unblock you, whatever. Like, don't get stuck on, oh my God, it has to be polished and it has to be big. And it doesn't need to be. Like, every hack is better than no hack.
Yes.
Absolutely agree. It's the don't boil the ocean.
Yes.
I've heard that before. It's that you can get in, you have grand ideas, and then you kind of overwhelm yourself by the idea that you have in your head, and you kind of like, oh, well, it's become too big, and I'll probably not do it now. It's like, no, just you think small, and then just build up. And we're having discussion about this the other day. Software's never really finished, right? It's always continuously evolving, and there's always more things that you can do. But having something that is, like say, maybe just small, and you've got other things and other plans that you want to do, like after it.
Yep.
Do it after. You can still do that, and you can still submit it as well. And once you have submitted it, well, why not share with the community as well, right?
True.
We've got samples gallery, we've got community calls. The hack may be taking place over 2 weeks, but that doesn't mean that you just have to finish and you're done with. And it's a GitHub repo you never go back to. No. You can keep evolving it and share that with other people in the community as well, and use it as an opportunity to maybe go and speak. Like we talked about before, you might be thinking, I need an excuse. Well, it's a perfect excuse.
Great excuse.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and of course, every single hackathon participant will get a digital badge from the Credly, which is great. So the same Credly, which is providing all of Microsoft certification badges as well. So everybody will get one of those who are submitting. But like you said, Garry, this is a great opportunity of building something and showcasing things, and then maybe show it in a community call for a broader audience. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's an idea which counts, because again, sharing those ideas will help us as a collective mind to brainstorm even better ideas, and then everybody wins.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And again, like another thing, like what matters is the effort. Like you set the first step towards learning new tech. It might work out instantly and you will have this cool working app, and maybe it won't. What matters is you set the first step and you put in the work.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, you also mentioned ECS in the context of this. What's happening? European Collaboration Summit happens a week from now. We're recording this on 15th of May 2023, and it's happening on starting from 22nd of May 2023 with a workshop day and then 2 official days on the workshop. So what are both of you doing there? I know, Waldek, you're there as well.
How much time do you have? So, like, as for me, I've got few things that are on calendar and few that aren't, right? So I will be a part of the keynote, the Microsoft keynote. I will have a session about the Microsoft Graph Developer Proxy. So these are the 2 things that are on calendar, and I might be doing a backup or not if need be. But another thing that is on my mind that I want to do that isn't on calendar is be available for folks. Listen, like really genuinely take the time to connect with folks and hear from them. What's working, what's not, where we can improve, what they find hard. Because it's I try to listen to that online virtually as much as I can. But now we will be among, I don't know, 2,000 folks in person.
2,500.
That is a great 2,500. Yeah. Yes. Right. So we'll be able to see all these folks in person. And I really want to take the time to talk to folks in person. So if you are around, if you have something to share, if you want to chat, you want to say hi, find me. I will be roaming along the expo. Like, I don't know, Garry, if we should have like an umbrella or a flag that people can see us, or like a target on our back.
Well, what we need to do is when you go to festivals and there's people walking around with the big kind of like drinks buckets on the back and just kind of like, hey, do you want a drink? Do you want to chat? Perfect,
ice cream,
right?
Ice cream. It's like, the weather is good. Ice cream bag, like a big ice cream bag. Like, so we won't have a booth, but we will be around. So if you see us, grab us, say hi, share your experiences. We'd love to hear from you more than anything else.
And Garry, what about you? So part of that was covered, but anything specific on next week?
Yeah, similar. So part of the keynote as well. So be part of that. And I'm also speaking about how you can extend your Teams apps across Microsoft 365 as well. As we know, SharePoint Framework has got that ability as well. So we're going to be talking about all the ins and outs of how you can use this new feature to have your apps pop up across Microsoft 365 where people are working as well, and reuse the investments of your Teams apps and things that you've already built. So yeah, I'll be talking about that, and yeah, just to echo what Waldek said, really just kind of wanting to get out there and talk to people. Yeah, really excited. I feel like I'm allowed out of my little bubble. I don't go to many places. I drop my daughter off at nursery and I might walk around with the dog at lunchtime, and that's it. I see the same places. So yeah, I'm really excited to go over there, and I'm excited for our road trip as well, which we're going to embark on. So we're actually going to drive all the way to Dusseldorf as well.
Cool.
So yeah. So we're going
to drive across the pond, right? So it's like, that's interesting. You have this James Bond car, right? Would you just turn into what's called a
Nearly, yeah. So we're going over on a boat, which is interesting. So we're going to get the boat over, and then we're going to drive all the way through. So I'm really interested to see the outside world and lots of it. Rather than
excited and anxious.
Coming to the Europe, from the.
Oh yeah, now you'll be in Europe, Garry. Don't forget your passport.
Well, yeah.
let's not have that discussion. I think that's a bit of a. Yeah, exactly. Move forward.
Yes, I should be amongst friends. I know that. So there we go.
Yes. Should be good.
Yep.
Cool. I guess that sums up the discussion. I guess this week it's mainly prepping for ECS and Hackathon for all of us because obviously I will be in Düsseldorf as well. It will be actually great to catch up, both of you, in person. It's been a while. So
yeah, like I don't know what was the last time we've seen each other in person. Was it in ESPC Copenhagen? I think. Was it? Jeez, really?
Well, the ESPC Copenhagen was last November.
No, I mean the one before that.
Yeah, the previous one. Yeah, exactly. That's 2018 or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's and I mean we talk to each other almost every day, but we haven't seen each other in person for a long. Or at least me, like I haven't been anywhere. So
True.
Excited and anxious.
That's true. That's part of the game as well. I guess everybody is like a lot of people. No, too many people. So we had the same feeling on the Las Vegas.
It will be a great, get together of everybody, because there will be a bunch of folks whom I've known for years, so
Sure.
like friends, people that I've known for a long time. So it will be as, it will be like, we're going to an event, but it will be really a great place and time to see everybody, catch up with folks in person. Yeah. It will be cool.
And the weather looks good. So at least for now, it looks forecast looks decent. So
in other words, there will be a outside venue or outside outside session.
We'll see. Anyway, I guess that's good. Thank you, Garry, for taking the time on having a discussion with us, and then we'll of course jump on the weekly articles covering them right after this interview. But I guess that's it for now. We'll hopefully see a lot of the people, if you're watching this as this is a fresh episode, seeing in the Düsseldorf, or maybe if you watch this later on, maybe we saw each other in Düsseldorf. That would have been really cool as well.
Watch party of this episode and this year. I don't want to listen to myself for an hour now.
No, that gets complicated. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching and listening. We'll jump on the weekly articles with Waldek from here. Excellent. Thank you, Garry, one more time on the great discussion. Really cool to catch up, and looking forward to seeing you at ECS next week, and of course seeing other community members in ECS next week as well. Apparently, it's going to get sold out, which is pretty cool. 2,500 live attendees, which is
that's massive. For an event, and I mean it's really cool, right? Because that event will celebrate its 10 years already around, and it's really cool to see like how it would start as a local small event, and then over the course of years evolve into this really regional European scale event, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's a great journey from Adriatics, SharePoint Saturday Adriatics in Croatia, to be the Central European Collaboration Conference. So really cool. So awesome job for the team who's actually building the conference as well. Anyway, let's jump on the weekly articles and go through what's happening within the community and within the Microsoft News. So let's start within here. Yes, I'm sharing the right screen. That's good. That's a great start. So first of all, on the Microsoft Teams blog, establish seamless and secure collaboration across organizations with Microsoft Teams. This is kind of a recap or a reminder on the features and capabilities which are available within Microsoft Teams for collaborating cross organizations. So really good storyline and explaining how things are working and what are the options, and referencing the different settings and their impact within the work. So that's really cool. Now, on the SharePoint community blog, Mark Cashman had a blog post on Jeff Teeper is your co-pilot. That
is an intriguing title. And yes. I suppose co-pilot. So co-pilot is a big thing, especially the last few weeks. If you are around, there's no way about it. And in this Intrazone episode, Mark Cashman is talking to Jeff Teeper about Jeff. So there is actually multiple guests, right? There is Jeff Teeper. We've got Chris McNulty.
No, the hosts are Mark and Chris on the show. So
gotcha. Sorry.
Yes.
And it's also this really cool meme which you're showing on a screen. It's co-pilot in SharePoint, not co-pilot in SharePoint, with the right capital P's in the right place. So really pay attention to that. But if anything else, it's a really great discussion about the latest announcements that we've heard from the Microsoft 365 conference that was recently in Las Vegas, US.
Yep, absolutely. And that was really cool setup for sure. Now, on the Microsoft 365 blog, there's a coordination is the key for spontaneity with these features in Outlook and Web and Teams. Confusing title, to be fair, especially for international audience. I would be like, wait, what are you trying to say here? It's a bit confusing.
If you know, you know, right? Like
exactly.
If you can immediately align it with the feature, you're like, oh, that one. But like you look at the title and you're like,
exactly.
So what is this about exactly?
Exactly. But in this case, we're talking about this feature which is rolling out related on are you working remotely or are you working at the office? And that's actually really cool. So you can actually define or share your working behaviors with the team members within your work, and that helps on knowing are you actually at the office or remotely and working. For us, this is not a big thing.
Home, which is my Office and is remote. So how do I
that's
define it in English?
Point. But for those people who are working at the offices, we're not those. So this is a useful capability within the Outlook for sure.
It's my office.
Yes, it's your office. Yes, Waldek, we know. It's okay. Now, on the Microsoft 365 platform blog, so there was a really good, nice announcement from Menke and Adriana related on SharePoint admin APIs, which are now in Microsoft Graph, and we'll get more and more of those APIs in future as well. So historically, these have been only in the classic CSOM client-side object model APIs, and now we're rolling them out in the Microsoft Graph as well to make it easier to have that one API to roll them all.
Definitely. I really, really highly desired and asks for a set of APIs. And
sure.
I can imagine this is just the beginning of, or the tip of the iceberg, right? Like we will, I hope we will see way more, because it's just super easy to be able to just call Graph for everything, and then that being just like one-stop shop for everything you need to automate.
Absolutely. Really, really cool. And thank you for those updates. Now, this is from my side, which is announcing SharePoint Framework 1.17.2. So a new patch update for SharePoint Framework. This does not actually mean that there was a catastrophic issues in 1.17. And no. We're looking actually moving to this model where, as we are adding additional things and capabilities or addressing the incoming feedback, we'll roll out a feature as well. So 1.17.0 or 1.17.1. I think there was one explicit issue here, which was adjusting 1.17.0 or 1.17.1. Other ones were basically additional things. And even on that particular issue, it's so complicated, but there was basically a deep dependency on something else from another team in Microsoft, and they did a breaking change, which is always like, come on, stop doing this breaking changes, and then it had an impact on SharePoint Framework. So, but all of that is now taken kind of away as a future, let's say, an opportunity to or a thing to happen. So that's why 1.17.2 is out. We might have 1.17.3, 1.17.4 within upcoming months as well. So that's the new way of thinking on addressing findings and improvements. Now then, this is actually interesting. So Microsoft Teams app now available in public preview in Microsoft 365 iOS app. A lot of information in the title. What does it mean?
Exactly, right? So like, again, an example title, and you're like, Microsoft Teams apps available in public preview in Microsoft 365 iOS app. So it's like Teams, iOS, and then finally it clicks, right? So a while back, we announced that you can extend or expose Microsoft Teams apps in Outlook and Office being the old name for the Microsoft 365 app on the web. Now we have a preview of the Microsoft 365 app for iOS on iPhone. And in there, you will be able to use your Teams apps. So it's kind of the ability for you to use your Teams apps in your M365 app on your iPhone or iPad.
Yep.
And that is now currently in preview.
Yes. Really, really cool. We are rolling out those features across the whole device stack, which is really, really great. Now, there was also an update related on Microsoft Graph Co SDK from Myserisi, which is now generally available. So if you are using or building Go applications, you can take advantage of that. So really, really cool stuff there as well. I'm not a Go developer, so I can read
you
that,
won't go, but other people will go with Go.
That's true. Now, also on Viva Explorers, which is a community initiative, is organizing a Viva Around the World event on June 2nd. Really, really cool setup as well. A lot of sessions running across the world within 24 hours. It's actually more than that, but really, really awesome kind of a flow of sessions across the world and different presenters, of course, in the different locations as well. So awesome setup. A lot of awesome sessions to check out as well, related on Microsoft Viva. If I click that one, yes, I'm actually getting the session details. Cool. I'm just trying to figure out how that works. Here we go. Cool. And then Stefan Bauer had a new series, or actually the bi-weekly update, kind of trying to start a new news article style blog post where he's raising interesting things which are getting rolled out across the styling and HTML and client-side development tooling within the web stack development. So this is not really about Microsoft 365 only. This is all up what's happening within the area.
Cool.
That's really, really cool. Markus Müller had a new blog post related on sharing best practices on PnP provisioning templates.
Exactly right. So if you have a need to scaffold, in other words, provision set of sites, libraries, whatever config in your tenant, the odds are high that you probably will use the PnP provisioning templates for that. And Markus shares his best practice based on his extensive experience. So if you are in this space, if you're working with already, or you're looking into it, you will find this article invaluable because you will be able to learn. And it's like, hey, maybe there's a thing or two for you to pick up too. So check it out.
Absolutely. Then Peter Venstra had a blog post related on size your Power Apps with height and width in SharePoint web parts. So if you are surfacing the Power Apps inside of SharePoint web parts, how would you adjust the things and set sizing and all of that stuff? And that's actually really, really cool. Useful scenarios as well. So thank you, Peter, on that one. Then we had a new show from the Messaging Center show. So Daniel and Daryl related on episode 284. And that's basically, again, catching up on what are the latest announcements within the Microsoft Message Center, which we use for rolling out announcement features for tenant administrators. So a really, really great show to catch up on what's happening there. So what about the other new things? Viva Connection dashboard customization coming out, and Viva Engage iOS Android self-navigation updates. A lot of cool things. I think this one, the domain thing, which we talked about a while back, is probably the most interesting one within the future as well. So
definitely, like one name, consistent name across Microsoft or Microsoft online apps.
Yes.
So basically, you have a consistent experience across all of them, as opposed to you have Teams URL versus different SharePoint URL versus different Outlook URLs. Like no, like we are trying to make it consistent across the board, which is always good.
Yep, absolutely. Now, Adam Wojcik had a tweet related on the new version available on the Viva Connection toolkit. Adam is doing a great job on evolving this and adding new features on the Viva Connection toolkit, which is still in preview, 0.5.2. A lot of awesome features inside of that as well for SPFX developers. So awesome.
And
features.
Since we are on Twitter, let's share another tweet that we had from Kevin. I share him with you in the chat. Let's include it too.
Yes, we covered that one in here.
Oh, was it this one? Okay, sorry, I didn't. Like my original tweet, there was no tweet. Where's the tweet? And you mentioned it directly, indirectly here.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes,
gotcha.
That's to Viva Explorers around the world.
Just ensuring that we cover all of the ground.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. No worries there. Now, on the Microsoft Power Platform YouTube channel, there was a new video from the Power Platform Connection, episode 13, with Hugo and David. And this is actually an interesting episode as well. They actually drill into David's history and how he came to be a community lead and community manager within the Power Platform. What does it mean and all of that stuff. So really, really cool episode. Thank you, Hugo and David, on that one. There was also a new episode from Paolo related on Microsoft 365 apps with SharePoint Framework 1.17.2. So how can we now create Microsoft Teams personal apps with SPFX, and what do we need to do to extend those to be available in Microsoft Office and Outlook, which is really, really cool as well. So I think we actually have a live demos here as well. So explaining, and I think, do we have it? No. Okay, so we're doing the baseline extension.
Outlook, yes,
but really, really cool.
It is an Outlook.
That is an Outlook. And 4 minutes and 41 seconds to cover what it means in practice. What does it mean in practice? Really, really cool. Thank you, Paolo, on that. Shane had a new video as well.
Exactly, about validating inputs, warning users, and disabling buttons in Power Apps. In other words, key features that you need in every Power App you build, because you want the user experience to be great. Like, you don't want people to fill a form in, click something, and guess and hope for the best. Like, you can make that experience way better by bringing some of these features and checks up front so that they will get that feedback as quickly as they can, avoiding, confusion and all of that. So check out these tips because they will help you build better Power Apps.
Yep, absolutely. Really, really cool, cool scenarios and support features to take into account. And then Giuliano De Luca had a new video on how to use Microsoft Loop to supercharge your Teams meeting notes. We use this internally quite widely as well. So it's a great way of actually getting notes within the Microsoft Teams meeting. Thank you, Giuliano, on covering that. But I guess that's it for today.
That is true. So it is everything for today, but we will be back later this week for us.
Yes, but then the show really, yes. So
correct.
Yeah.
So we will be back. We will see each other a lot. We will see each other today. We will see each other. I don't know if you have. Yeah, we have something planned for tomorrow too, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we are both off, I reckon.
Yes, Thursday and Friday both off. Yes, this week.
And then next week in person, seeing each other
in
person, like
that is really cool. That's cool. That's really, really cool. Now, thank you everybody for watching and listening. Please use hashtag PnP Weekly in Twitter. If you are using Twitter, it helps us on finding the great content and articles and discussions what you're using as well. Helps us to call them out within the show. Other than that, keep the feedback coming. We're always interested on adjusting the show based on your input. That's it for now. Thank you, Waldek.
Thank you, Vesa. See you, everybody.
And thank you, Garry. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.